Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Embrace it. Take it on. It's like a big pass rush, but apparently we're going to miss it. Our friends, especially in the panhandle, or panhandle, excuse me, are going to get hit. And we wish them the very, very best. I will say this, though. My goodness, Duval, you need a big hug. The stress driving in was so thick, I couldn't believe it. I don't think I had stressed that way since I was, waiting for the delivery of one of my daughters. It was just incredible. I mean, and I'd love to tell you to relax, but you are relaxed. You're too relaxed. And maybe it's people like me who have come from other parts of the country who come here and we get overly excited. I'm not going to make it. I mean, my goodness. And I live in the same hood on the other side of the tracks out in Bartram, the Bayard parts, Phillips and Racetrack. And I've been coming here for the last 18 and a half years. I have never seen traffic on Southside Boulevard heading towards Tinseltown the way that I did today. It reminded me where I grew up in Boston. The only difference there is all those knuckleheads, they won't stand for it. They'll drive around people. They'll yell. They'll scream. Everyone out here is kind of, yeah, man, I'll get there when I get there. Just, you need a hug. So no matter where you go tonight, just hug, embrace. It's got to be okay. Your feelings are hurt. Your football team is not playing well, and hopefully that does. Story, you don't have to get 72 cases of water, right? Save one for someone else. Batteries, water, whatever it may be. Help one another out. And that's why I love Jacksonville so much. But I got to tell you, JJ, I know you take that route as well. This is not radio embellishment. This is straight out facts. I have never seen Southside Boulevard. It is a legitimate parking lot, and there's not one car going the other way.
I'll give you a perfect example of how quick it usually is coming from my apartment. I left, I think it was yesterday, late, and it was 6 o'clock or 5, something pretty crazy time. It took me, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes to get here usually.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was stressful. And, I'm just, I don't even know what else to say.
Maybe everyone's off for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I guess. And, maybe they're running to go get supplies.
Yeah, exactly my point.
I used to overreact with hurricanes. And, my really good friend, Charlie Jimerson, a longtime sponsor, we had a conversation. He kind of did the same. And then he was out on the other side of the river, out in, Timuquana, and his house got destroyed. Absolutely he was taking his kids up, and he was in 3-4 foot of water with who knows what was in those waters, snakes, whatever. And that was really alarming to me. That was probably four or so years ago. Actually, I think it was pre-COVID. So because I remember hurricane parties at Florida State, and it felt like all my years here in Jacksonville, whenever there was talk of a hurricane, we seemed to dodge the majority of it. St. Augustine would get hit. Feels like San Marco and a couple of places that maybe under sea level would get hit. But for the most part, we did escape, and that was until that really bad one. Again, I'm trying to remember when, in fact, that was. But, hey, yeah, do whatever it is that you need to do to protect your family. And anyway, it feels like there is a little bit of stress out there right now. So I'm offering each and every one of you a hug. All you got to do is come by here and say hello to us at Hogan Road. All right, Tim Brando's coming up. Georgia, Alabama. I mean, this is what it's all about. 7:30 on a Saturday night. And, yeah, I think Georgia wins this game. I think Georgia looked ahead 2 weeks ago, fooled around with Kentucky, a very physical team at the line of scrimmage. Georgia certainly far more talented. As a Heisman Trophy voter, once again, I have my eyes all over this, particularly at the quarterback position. First-timer in DeBoer against Kirby Smart, who all Georgia does is win. Their last blemish, as we remember, was to Alabama, which ended up being, the last victory for Nick Saban. So Georgia favored by 2. Tim Brando, again, we're going to get to him coming up in 13 minutes. I'm going to actually hit this post on time because I want to hear the analysis from Tim Brando, who, again, has got a big game coming up on Friday night in the Big Ten with Rutgers and UW. We'll spend a couple of minutes on that, but certainly the majority of our conversation is going to be on number 2, Georgia, and number 4, Alabama. A little bit later on in the show, John Oehser at 7 o'clock will join us, the latest on the Jags. Also, Mike Silver coming up in our second hour. Very decorated, longtime NFL writer, very good at what he does. Looking forward to the conversation with him. The Jaguars, and I'm still waiting on their injury report. I usually always have it before I go on the air at 6 o'clock. It is yet to be released, and I would think that we'll get it momentarily. But there was injury news today for the Jaguars. The best part of it was guys like Anton Harrison, Gabe Davis, Jerrion Jones, all taking part in practice. Was it limited? We don't know. No media accessibility. Did they take part in individual drills? Did they take part in team drills? That becomes a best guess at this point, but we'll officially have those notifications once the report does come out. The bad news, as we know, is with Foye Oluokun. He's going to be on the shelf for at least a couple of weeks, according to NFL media and NFL.com, with that foot injury. But we'll give you a full report once that does become available. Doug Peterson spoke for a third consecutive day. Trevor Lawrence spoke today, and I talked about it with Frank and Hayes a moment ago. It really feels like what's coming from Trevor Lawrence is that these guys they have to be loose. You know, they got to go out and have fun again. They're professionals. Go out and make some plays. They're tight. They're pressing. You can put in any type of words that you want to describe the disappointment so far with Jaguars football. But I thought Trevor's point here was pretty intriguing. Let's get to it. Trevor Lawrence a few hours ago talking about doing too much.
No, I don't think so. I think there's been times where I've been a little undisciplined with my eyes and maybe been a little sped up in some of my progressions. So maybe a little bit of that for sure. I think a few times my feet have gotten sloppy, have caused some passes to not go exactly where I wanted them to. You know, and then there's times where the defense is going to win and they have a better call than we do at times. So that happens every game, every year. I mean, that's just going to happen, and do the next best thing with the ball, whether that's throwing it away, finding it underneath guy, giving him a chance to run, maybe get it to him earlier so he can catch it with space. So, you know, I don't think it's been an issue of me trying to force the issue.
I'm not going to make a mountain out of a molehill, but I like that comment about the defense, a better play. It's sneaky. It's a jab. It's not a haymaker. It's not from the ankle all the way up. It's a little jab. And that's the way I read it. Okay? You get blown out. That's the way I'm going to read it. A better call. It just feels like there's a nibble here, a nibble there. A little bit of something here, a little bit of something there. We read a bunch of stuff where, you know, did Peterson, when he said we have to make changes, everything is in fact on the table as far as whether or not it's play design, personnel. People automatically assumed Trevor Lawrence. Is that Trevor? A little bounce back about the play and how the defense they face had a better play than the offense? That I don't know. And until this organization wins a football game, things like this are going to grow and grow and grow. Trevor Lawrence needs to play better football. Trevor Lawrence needs a supporting cast. He needs better play calling. He needs a much better offensive line. I would love to see them be able to settle in and run the football. Tank Bigsby only had, 2 carries on Sunday, right? and he got 9 out of the 71 snaps. 49 went to ETN. No, to me that is a little bit of a problem. And again, there needs to be more consistency with his targets, right? He's obviously missing Evan Engram. There's another guy that we'll have to see for sure. Went on the injury report. Doug Peterson today did say some things about Darnell Savage where it's really looking like he could be back for Houston. So that is good news. Am I overstepping it here a little bit? Sure. If you want to pound me for it, you can. But that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now. This team's lost 8 in a row, and the pressure is immense. All right, opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. I've known Dr. Neil Shmunez forever. They're a family organization. They focus on personal, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez, fellowship trained in cornea, cataract and refractive surgery. That's more than 30 years of laser eye surgery. Hey, I can't think of a better situation to be in for you out there, the listener, than having laser eye surgery. Remember, when you go to Shmunez, you never deal with a surgery counselor. They will tell you exactly what it is and how the process is going to go. You'll hear from Dr. Neil. You'll hear from Dr. Catherine directly. That's one of the many issues that separates them from the rest. Check them out online. Just go to Shmunez Vision. You can get testimonials as well on Instagram. Look for Shmunez Vision. All right, we are jam-packed on a Wednesday night. Let's kick it off with our good friend. It's our weekly conversation. Tim Brando joins Rick Ballou next.
Get the coach's perspective.
Constant improvement, every day, every week.
Doug Peterson joins the Frangie Show Fridays at 4:05.
This group is eager to win.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors on 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Hi, I'm Chuck Farah. We know how important it is for you to have a vehicle after you've been injured in a car accident. So when we represent you for your personal injury claim, we'll help you get a rental car from the insurance company while your car is being repaired. And we'll provide this service at no additional fee. If you're hurt and you've got no car, let my team go to work for you. Farah & Farah, protecting you and your family. Call us at 396-5555 or go to farahandfarah.com. Jacksonville.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Jags Hall of Famer Tony Baselli puts on his gold jacket every Monday morning at 7:20 on The Drill.
Does look good.
It's Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli.
Good? It's great.
Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
My name is Brian. I've lost 42 pounds on Awaken 180. I had a triple bypass in 2018. I had a hip replacement 2.5 years ago. My focus was just getting healthy and being consistent. With this plan, once you establish yourself, if I decide to cheat, I can cheat. I'm burning enough calories a day. I don't have any fear. It's not really a diet. It's a lifestyle change. It changed my perspective on how to eat better, and just kind of control yourself. And I hope what this does, I hope it enables somebody in their 60s that has poor health and no hope, that gives them hope. That's my goal.
Wow. Thank you so much, Brian. Hey, this is Matt Hayes, and Brian sharing his Awaken 180 story is the exact reason I continue to share my story with all of you. There's hope, there's a plan, and you will succeed with Awaken 180. Online at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about putting your worries in the right bucket. So often we put our worries in our own bucket, but many times they need to be in God's bucket. The Bible says, present your problems always to God. In other words, leave them in God's bucket. Understand that no matter what is out of your control, it's never out of the control of Almighty God.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohndedivine.com.
When it comes to selling your home, it can be stressful. Take the stress out with my friends, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. How's this for a guarantee? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. And if you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home. Take Kim in Palm Coast. I needed to move closer to family ASAP, but I had to sell my Palm Coast home first. I tried and failed with another agent. So my family said, you got to call Chad and Sandy. Well, sure enough, as promised, Chad and Sandy did it. They sold my home in 3 days, above asking price. Call the local Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet. It's the sports book for every kind of player. Straightforward, simple enough for the first-time bettor, but built with all the features experienced players expect. Plus, try it now. If your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $100. Easy deposits and fast withdrawals. PayPal, Venmo, and more. All you have to do to get started is download the Hard Rock Bet app. Go online, hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Tonight's show, which I am fired up about, brought to you by Thermal Engineers. Man, if I was in the HVAC profession, I'd be incredibly fired up about Thermal Engineers. They are hiring right now. It's a growing company, okay? Bottom line, they have too much business. They need help. They're looking for Jacksonville's best who is looking for a better opportunity, right? Maybe you're going sideways as a contractor, as a technician, as an installer. You're like, I'm not getting ahead of it. Well, listen to this. Thermal Engineers, top pay, 401k, full benefits, and a signing bonus. Just go to Thermal Engineers, Inc. I'm really good friends with Eric Neal. He's on the shelf right now with a bum knee. He's got a knee. And he's a golfing buddy, but he had been with the same company in the industry for more than 20 years. And he's like, I had to go. I had to take advantage of this incredible opportunity. So he did go to Thermal Engineers and loves the move the opportunity is there for you as well. It's an equal opportunity employer, 230-1172. We'll go to Thermal Engineers, Inc. That is Thermal Engineers, Inc. to get the very latest, the good folks at Thermal Engineers.
Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
New Jersey is the site of a matchup on Friday night. Could it possibly be as good as the thriller we saw one Friday night ago? It is the great Tim Brando at Fox Sports. He'll have UW and Rutgers at 8 o'clock on Fox, and it's our weekly conversation with Rick Ballou. Timmy B, how are you, sir?
I'm wonderful, Rick. By the way, it's not your garden variety Big Ten matchup, right? Washington flying across country to play in Piscataway, New Jersey. As I said, it's not your garden variety Big Ten game, but it is being played in the Garden State.
Yeah.
So we got those things working, and I think the mojo for Friday night college football has taken the college football world by storm. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Last week's game between Nebraska and Illinois, I think I may have predicted with you last week that we would have over 4 million people watching. We, in fact, peaked our audience in the last hour at over 5 million, and we're the third highest-rated college football game of the weekend last week. We outrated Big Noon. The only a couple of games the one game that was the highest-rated was the Michigan-USC game. And, gosh, you tell me what the other premium game was. I want to say it was maybe an SEC game. Can't remember which one. But we outrated Big Noon. We outrated LSU and UCLA. We finished with a 4.21, which for Friday night is unheard of. It's a brand new package. And, look, Nebraska brings a lot of eyeballs. They're a tradition-rich program. We'll see what we do with this audience from the Seattle area and Washington. They're certainly a brand after what they did a year ago, albeit with a new coach now and Jed Fish. But, they're a good team that can solidly believe that they're in the Big Ten race, and Rutgers is undefeated again, as they typically are in September. And Greg Schiano, I think, this year has a team, he might have the best running back in the country. I mean, this kid is off the charts good. If you don't know about him, you will know about him after Friday night. And Manun guy, he's incredible. And he's a very bright kid. He's from this area, Jersey born. So fun storylines again for this game. And I suspect we'll continue to build the momentum as viewers get accustomed, to watching games on Friday night. And Devin and I are not going to do all of these. In fact, next week we're going to be at Iowa State, which is another team, by the way, that is probably under some people's radar. We've got Iowa State and Baylor on Big Fox on Saturday night next week, and I'm looking forward to that. But Jason Benetti and Brock Hewitt are going to do the Michigan State-Oregon game, which, as you know, will get a big audience. Oregon is a ratings monster, and UW's not far behind them. And even though these two teams, Rutgers and Washington, aren't ranked, the receiving votes, they're right there. Rutgers is always going to be overlooked because they're Rutgers.
Yep.
And they're where they are. But Washington, as you know, were it not for the loss to Wazoo in a game that we sort of kind of predicted here a few weeks ago could happen. If it weren't for that, they'd be in the top 15 right now. So if they beat Rutgers and beat them pretty good, they're going to be right back in the top 25 without a doubt next week.
Rutgers has that old school feel. They literally have the double rushing attempts to passing attempts. This is like Big Ten from the 1960s, 1970s. Is this because of the schedule they faced, or they really believe in this rushing attack, and that's going to be the bread and butter for Greg Schiano?
No, they do. I mean, that's what Schiano's all about. I mean, Schiano's always been that way, and it worked for him before. You remember that team that I want to say they played South Florida and maybe a 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 when Levitt was coaching. Do you remember that team?
Vaguely. I remember the Levitt team. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that team played at Rutgers in a Thursday night game on ESPN back in 2007. That they're saying here in New Jersey, they're saying this is the biggest home game since. Okay, they're going to do a blackout here. Kids are going to be going nuts. Crowd atmosphere is going to be unreal. I've never done a game here. So that's another reason why I'm excited is anytime at my age I get to do something for a first time, I'm excited. So that's got my attention. But they're saying biggest game since then. And I want to say that same year, South Florida was involved in games when Levitt was coaching. I want to say they were involved in another game with Louisville.
Okay.
And Rutgers was involved in a game with Louisville. That was like 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, or 2 versus 4. They were highly, highly rated. That was that crazy year in college football when LSU managed to win the national championship in the BCS with 2 losses.
I remember.
So everybody, it was like trade off who's number one, every week it seemed. And I want to say South Florida got as high as 2. And I want to say at one point Louisville might have been number 1. But Rutgers was also in that mix. All 3 of those teams in the old Big East, Rick. Go back and look it up.
The old Dave Gavitt Big East.
The old Big East college football version.
Right.
The Micah Resco Big East before they broke away and started the American.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
No doubt about it.
But I just think it's going to be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
And fall is in the air. I'm looking at. I just got to my hotel. Literally just. And by the way, if you're flying through Atlanta, it's going to be trouble tomorrow because I got out of there this afternoon at 2:30, and the outer bands of Helene were already kicking in Atlanta. So it's going to be not too good. I've got a watchful eye from my travel people on my return on Saturday morning if I have to fly over and go to Houston or Dallas to get home as opposed to through Atlanta. So Helene is already rearing her ugly head at the AJC right now.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Tim Brando has a big matchup coming up on Friday night. UW at Rutgers. That'll be at 8 o'clock on Fox. Okay, Saturday night, and hopefully you'll be comfortably at your home at the Chateau to watch this one. Right. Welcome to the SEC, Kalen DeBoer. A home matchup for Alabama. Against Georgia, both teams coming off a bye. What an incredible matchup on Saturday night. Your thoughts going into this one?
Well, they're always going to be coming off a bye when there's a monster matchup in the SEC. That they do a nice job of scheduling it that way, don't they? Mm-hmm. To make sure that all the big games, the teams both of them have byes the week before. They're ahead of the game in that regard, always have been. I know a lot of people are believing that, and I'm a Kalen DeBoer guy. I think he's a great coach, and he's won everywhere he's been. He came up in a lot of ways in a manner that no other coach has. To have coached at the lowest levels of college football and to get to this level, the pinnacle at Alabama after doing what he did at Washington is incredible. But this is a different animal for Alabama. They have not played anybody that comes even close to the size and speed this year. This year's version of Alabama has not seen anything like Georgia. Now, people are talking about, well, what do you mean Alabama's Alabama? No, they're not in today's world. Not when you have 30 to 40% of your roster flipping over from year to year.
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys that have been on great programs and championship caliber programs that Nick Saban had. But not only is it going to be different for them against Georgia, more often I think because of what happened recently, recent history should tell you that Alabama hasn't played anybody. Even that game at Wisconsin, even though it was a road game and even though it was against a decent Big Ten opponent. I won't go any further with Wisconsin than saying decent. I don't think they're a great opponent. I think they're a decent opponent. They won't come anywhere near to what they're going to see in Georgia. Okay, take a look at what, for instance, Clemson has done since the Georgia game.
Oh, yeah.
Look at what the Clemson quarterback has been able to achieve since the Georgia game. All right? Now, keep that in mind as you watch this game unfold on Saturday night. Georgia did play poorly in their game at Kentucky, but that happens in the SEC when you go on the road. And particularly when you go on a road against a team that had just looked lousy the week before, bitten the bit against South Carolina. You know, they played at home and looked horrible against South Carolina, and they were embarrassed and they were pissed, and they came back and they played with an edge, and Georgia, for whatever reason, did not have their best game.
Yeah.
Well, you know what happens with Kirby Smart coach teams after that? They're going to be – that team will not resemble what you saw against Kentucky. I think Georgia's going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game convincingly.
Interesting. Okay. I'll say this. The best thing that could have happened to Georgia was the drop from 1 to 2 and get an extra week to think about it. I mean, the motivation is going to be incredible.
Sure.
And I watched that game, the entire matchup, and I thought that, Timmy, I thought that Kentucky was the more physical team in the ditch. They ran for 170 yards, and then offensively, ETN had a decent game, but they lost Tate Ratledge. So let's put it on Georgia right now. Can they run the football? They struggled against Kentucky. Can they run the football against this Alabama defensive front?
Yes, and they'll be able to throw the ball against the Alabama secondary, in my opinion. Now, they may open it up first, in order to get the run going. This is a game where the talent levels are such that neither team will be able to do what they're accustomed to doing from a game plan standpoint to win.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I know Kalen DeBoer well enough to know that he has no problem winging it, not with what he did with Penix and Odunze and McMillan and those guys, the last couple of years at UW. But, Beck is a guy that I think, took that loss to heart. When I say loss, it felt like a loss for him, the way he performed in the game with Kentucky. And I think he's going to answer big time. And I think Georgia's, players, they got more of them. That's first and foremost. They've got more of the best players than Alabama has. And it's rare that we say that.
Yeah.
In recent years, you would always say, Georgia's got a bunch, but they don't have more than Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time the script is flipped. Okay, Alabama's got a lot of really great players, but they don't have as many as Georgia. And I think going on the road for Georgia after the open day takes some of the advantage that Alabama would have by being at home. I think to be rested, refreshed, and to have had all that time with Kirby in the aftermath of a performance like that, where, you survived and you got a win, but he could coach your ass up big time because you didn't play the way you're supposed to play, and now you're playing Bama. I think that gives him a tremendous edge. And for Kirby, he's going to look across the sideline, and he's not going to see Nick Saban. I think that's also a factor.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. And as great a coach as Kalen DeBoer is, and he's a damn good coach, I think the coaching edge in a game like this goes to him. And I think you got the best players, and you got a coach who's going to come in there with edge. Listen, it's not lost on Kirby what his record in Tuscaloosa is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not lost on him what his record against Saban is. He's tired of hearing that. And listen, he played at Georgia. He played in games I called in the 90s on Raycom and Jefferson Pilot with Dave Rowe. He's pissed anytime he goes in there as the opposition to Alabama. He wants to win. He's Georgia born and bred. Those fans in Alabama that think he's theirs and they want to take credit for him, he's not hearing it. He's not hearing any of that crap this week. Okay, he wants this game as badly as any game he's ever coached, and that includes national championship games.
Yep. Final minute with Tim Brando again. He's got a big game Friday night, UW at Rutgers. That'll be at 8:00 on Fox. I learned a lot from you, and I made a comparison between you and Dick Vitale years ago in that you always promote the sport, and there's not enough broadcasters who do that nowadays. It's about the hot take. It's about something that, and you've always promoted the sport, but this is where the college football playoff comes in, and it's so new that this could be the first time out of 3 times that Alabama and Georgia meet. They could meet in the SEC championship game, and they could meet again in a 12-team college football playoff.
Right. They could. They could.
Yeah. So in a way, this is, I'm not going to say it's a meaningless game. Again, no one promotes it more than you, but I mean, winning this game, you don't point at the other team and say season's over. The chances are you're going to meet a second time and possibly a third time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a new game. It absolutely is. But I don't think that diminishes the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people, I think the pro mentality is that it might diminish the moment. If you prefer to look at college football as a pro game, it diminishes the moment. Colleges don't look at it that way. Players don't, coaches don't, no one does.
Yeah.
Now, as for the playoff, I think the committee would do everything in its power to make certain that even with 12, you do everything in your power to keep those teams apart.
Yes.
As
Yes,
they're
you
ranking
do.
those teams. Because you know that they gerrymandered the process. They did it with 4. They'll do it with 12. But let me also say this as it relates to promoting the game. I want to bring up something, if you don't mind. The kid at UNLV that decided to opt out with an undefeated team with 2 wins against Power 4 conferences. And this week I have them number 12 in my poll. And if they were to win out, they could be the college football representative from the group of 5 conferences. The kid Sluka decided to step away. And there's rumors all around about what the offensive coordinator promised. And Barry Odom is saying, "Oh, I wasn't privy to that," and now he's pulling up stakes and taking his redshirt year, and now I'm reading some of my friends that are in the business saying, "Well, there's the end of college athletics and college football as we know it." Blah blah blah. That's such garbage. That is such garbage. Now look, go to Twitter, go to X. Look what I posted. I took his tweet and I reposted it, and I sent him a message on my tweet saying, "You know what, young man, you had the chance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
You had the chance to have a team that went to the college football playoff with you as its quarterback, and you may never be in a better position.
Yeah.
You could grow your own brand and do whatever you wanted to do, but at the same time, I know that there's got to be more to this story than you're able to tell us on this platform, on social media. So I get that. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Now, for those that are piling on this young guy, and you know who you are because there's a gazillion of them out there crucifying this kid on social media as we speak, saying, you're a horrible teammate, you're selfish, you're this, you're that. They have no clue either. At a certain point, Rick, the player has to take care of whom?
Mm-hmm.
The player.
Oh, yeah.
And he did what he felt was in his best interest. The only thing about college football that we learned from this decision that Sluka, the quarterback at UNLV, made today, the only thing that we learned is something we already knew. And I've been telling you this since we worked together on Sporting News 30 years ago. The worst thing that ever happened to college football was the NCAA's governance of it. We don't need the NCAA to be a part of it at all, period, in the future. They kicked the can down to the curb for 15 years on name, image, and likeness. And this is what happened as an end result. We have free agency with no salary cap, and inevitably somebody was going to take advantage of that. And this young man decided to do it. If not him, somebody else. And there will be more between now and the end of the season.
It's like Curt Flood. It's like Curt Flood.
That's not college football's fault.
Yeah.
That's not college football's fault. It's the NCAA's fault. Now, it will be college football's fault if they allow the NCAA to continue to coerce them into believing that Charlie Baker, the leader of the NCAA, will be able to get Congress to help them and somehow fix this with some sort of national legislation. It's not going to happen. Okay, even if the Republicans win 2 of the 3 executive branches, it's still not going to happen in the upcoming election. College football needs to take care of college football. If the colleges want to use the NCAA to run their women's NCAA basketball tournament and the men's NCAA basketball tournament, fine. They've proven they can do that. But when it comes to college football, All they have ever done is undermine it and blank it up.
Outstanding.
And we've got to understand right now from this point forward, and I hope the commissioners of the Power Four and the commissioners of Group 5 are listening to me. Convince your presidents, because they're the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the presidents of the institutions are saying, well, the NCAA is still God. No, they're not. They're leading you into Nowheresville. You need to run your own ship.
Yeah.
And run it now.
We're out of time, but Tim Brando for college football commissioner. I know you want to do this TV thing for a few more years. All right. Brother Bino, what does Brother Bino think about Bama and the Dogs?
Unbelievable. Brando's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. Never go against a home dog. Are you out of your mind?
And a fly in the ointment.
Oh, the fly in the ointment game this week. Oh, come on now. It's Troy hosting ULM after the Warhawks lost to Texas. Bryant Vincent is going to go into Troy and get the W of all W's and win his first Sun Belt game for my alma mater. There you go. You're flying the ointment game.
Tim Brando is in New Jersey. He's got a huge one Friday night. Rutgers playing host to UW, 8 o'clock on Fox. Timmy B, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
You got it, Rick.
There he goes, the great Tim Brando. For those of you who didn't know who Kurt Flood was, he legitimately started free agency back in 1969 in Major League Baseball. And, yeah, that's part of today's college football. All right, need to take a break, no doubt. Your reaction, 641-1010, text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, everyone, it's football season, and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow, customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where you can score big all season long.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet. It's the sports book for every kind of player. Straightforward, simple enough for the first-time bettor, but built with all the features experienced players expect. Plus, try it now. If your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $100. Easy deposits and fast withdrawals. PayPal, Venmo, and more. All you have to do to get started is download the Hard Rock Bet app. Go online, hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Right now, they're on their way to ruin your day. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. And if you're not prepared, you will suffer. Yes, it's that time of the year. Heat and humidity are attacking North Florida. But help is at hand. Call Mike Merritt's Heating and Air Conditioning. Mike Merritt has a license to chill and lets you maintain your comfort zone at a bargain price. How? Mike Merritt stands ready to help, routine or emergencies. And Mike Merritt knows emergencies can happen at any time. So with Mike, there's never any overtime charges. And Mike's team works without commissions. Merritt will never try to sell you parts you don't need. You can't trust just anyone with a truck. Call Mike Merritt, the company North Florida has trusted for 35 years. Call today. License number CAC 050384.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 25th, 1932, MLB Hall of Fame first baseman Jimmy Fox hits his 58th home run in the last game of the season against the Senators.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Hicken here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between the patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner, and home to Xerox and HP copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
GoABSinc.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
If the Jaguars want to find any sort of ray of sunshine to turn the momentum of the season around, it's going to have to come from the leader of the team, Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence has showed many signs of resilience, even while riding an 8-game losing streak. Here's Coach Doug Peterson on how Trevor can keep his teammates believing during a rough patch.
He's handling it really well. He's taking ownership in his play, which he should. You know, he's not pointing a finger, or he's, if anything, he's pointing at himself, and that's where it has to start. And then you know, you work from there. And he's really embraced that, and you know, and I keep just encouraging him to take the lead with the team.
I'm Max Fink here with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Girl, you gotta love your man.
Let your children play.
Take him by the hand
If you give
and make him understand.
family will die. Killer
Tim Brando for College Football Commissioner. Jim Morrison, a rock guard. This is really about a serial killer. It came out in the American Poet. Right? The great American poet was like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. I just killed someone, but it's not a big deal. Anyway. Tell you my daughter's leaving Paris?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
for good, or just coming back to visit, or?
She's after a year, she's like, I want to come back to the States. So she's going to go back to where she was born. That is Chicago.
Okay.
which is closer. I got to be honest. Everyone wants to go to Paris, see the Eiffel Tower. All I wanted to do was see Jim Morrison's grave. That would have been good enough for me, so I'm happy to get her back. It'll be at the end of the year. But she's like, I grew up in Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville, but I want to do something else. And
probably a lot more career opportunities in Chicago.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's a lot easier to get to Chicago. And
yeah, I could imagine.
I don't know if I'll go visit her in the winter, but I certainly will come summertime. Chicago is magnificent in the summer. I mean, just a spectacular city. Unfortunately, they've been saddled with a tremendous amount of crime as of late, but that's really everywhere. Speaking of cities and all that, the hurricane, you just heard Tim Brando. I flew back from Buffalo yesterday morning. Again, I had the shuttle at 3:40 in the morning, had a 6 o'clock flight, so I got back here really early. I was back in Duval at like 10:30 yesterday morning. But when you have Mother Nature rear its ugly head, we have hurricanes, we're always there to thank the doctors and the nurses and the firemen and the police and everyone for protecting us. What about the military, though? It feels like they are often left behind. And this is a great military town. And my dad was in the military. My grandfather on my mother's side was in the military. A lot of cousins of mine in the military. I have a lot of respect, and I think there are times that we do not give them the support. I know a lot of folks in the military listen to us here in the home of the Jags. I want to give them a special shout out as well. All right, I went way overboard with Tim Brando. I hope you think it was worth it. I, without any question, do. Love the weekly conversation with Timmy B. So we're going to have to take another real quick break. When we come back, John Oehser is going to join us. Everything on the Jaguars. Mike Silver, tremendous NFL writer, is going to join us later in the program. Let me tell you, though, the injury report is now out. Did not practice today for the Jaguars. As expected, Evan Ingram and Foye Oluokun. All right? There were 7 players today who were limited. Tank Bigsby, the shoulder. Darnell Savage, a quad, even though Doug Peterson said that he is expected to be back on Sunday. Of course, Bigsby played kind of. He only played 9 snaps and had 2 carries. Cam Robinson, a knee. Bench him. I mean, just healthy scrap. He's not a healthy. He's injured, right? Get it. Sit him down. Gabe Davis, shoulder, limited. Anton Harrison, what's going on there? My goodness. Boy, has he really regressed in the first 3 games of his sophomore season. Got a knee, limited. Jarian Jones, limited with the shoulder. And Buster Brown, limited with a chest. One note for Houston. Their top 2 tailbacks didn't practice today. Joe Mixon, an ankle. Damian Pierce, a hamstring. It was Cam Akers who had 9 carries for 21 yards last week in that blowout. So we'll definitely keep an eye all week long on Houston, especially the running back situation now with the Texans. So let's get ready for hour number 2. The best way for you to join us is on the text line, 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
If you're on the prowl for exclusive updates and insight, get your fill on Jaguars Today.
I like it.
With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, 10 to noon weekdays.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Bug City AC, keeping you cool.
Feeling the heat check
Jacksonville, cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Your system worked hard all summer long to keep you cool. Give it a spa day. Schedule a system tune-up. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC.
Visit boldcityac.com.
Don't be sidelined from an injury that keeps you out of the game. Get the care the pros receive. Now available at Injury Care Centers, newly FDA regenerative treatments that will significantly shorten your recovery time. Sprains, strains, fractures, post-op surgeries, cut your recovery time in half or shorter. Masking pain just makes it worse. Fix it now. Call 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
I'm with Greg Mackey from Cycles of Jacksonville, and even though you're the place to go for fun, you're also a place to go for generators. People need generators.
And the Honda lineup is amazing. They make the super quiet model, inverter technology, the electricity super clean. You can have conversations with them. You can back up your whole house with a Honda generator. So we have them in stock, and we're ready to ride.
So you have generators big enough that could run everything in the house?
Absolutely.
Check it out, Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency for generators.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Hacker here, and the celebration continues on my countdown to 100 pounds. I'm now at 93.5 pounds with only 6.5 pounds to go. That will be a 100-pound swing in just over 6 months. Only a couple of more weeks to go, and I feel awesome. Life-changing and life-saving is what I like to say. Maybe you don't have 100 pounds to lose. Maybe it's 25 like Mike Dempsey or 40 like Matt Hayes. Whatever your number is, bring it to Awaken 180 and ask them how fast you'll reach it. But Hacker, I've tried other programs and diets before. Why will Awaken 180 work? That's simple. Because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Remember, when I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate. I'll keep you updated every week as I get closer. And you can even join in on the celebration. Pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Being an athlete means having a healthy desire to do as much as you can with your body for as long as you can. Gatorade has lower sugar, electrolyte-backed hydration options to keep you rehydrated and replenished. Gatorade, for every athlete.
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to bring your friends out and enjoy our spectacular golf course, which is carved out of some of the highest elevations in North Florida. Hidden Hills Golf Club, unlike any other. Check us out, hiddenhillsgc.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
John Oehser is our guest, senior writer, Jaguars.com. Our weekly conversation, he goes into the night with Rick Ballou. What do you say, John?
What do you want me to say, Rick, after that?
Fix
Seriously.
it. Fix it.
You ask me a question like that, what do you want me to say?
You're a handyman. You're like James Taylor. You need to fix it.
Well, I need to fix broken hearts, and I know I truly can, right?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of said that, to be funny, but I think at this point that's sort of the theme. We've talked so much, and the players have talked so much, and it's really early in the season for this, but I don't know what else there is to say or analyze. One of my, we do quick thoughts, Brian Sexton, Kai Stevens, and myself after games, and my quick thoughts was, look, I can't promise you much analysis here because we've said it, we've seen it. They have to make plays. They have to play better. They can do it. But frankly, until 1 o'clock Sunday, I don't want to hear it anymore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I get that we'll talk for 15 more minutes and we'll have things to say. And I'm kind of being facetious to make a point, but I'm not sure what else there is to say beyond, look, guys, you got to play better. This is ridiculous.
You and I and our listeners have seen some bad football here in 30 years, but I did not expect this. That's the shock part of it. I mean, you and I are out at the Miller Electric Center every morning watching them practice, and there have been years when we were across the street where it was the Mike Mularkey year was a bad team. As soon as Gus Bradley got it, that was a bad, and you're like, boy, they're really going to struggle. No one saw this coming.
No, and I think that sort of, sometimes you want to, we're in the micro, right? Like we're in the short term. I always try to step back and think, okay, maybe how will this look in a month? And, I don't think they were atrocious against Miami. They were defensively okay against the Browns, and offensively they worked their way back into it against a good defense in the Browns. I get that they didn't play well last week, but, okay, they were okay. And then, even with the sense of urgency, didn't go up to the Bills and play well. And I'll caveat what I'm about to say by this. I thought they'd play good against the Bills because I thought they would have that 0-2 urgency that you see a lot. Maybe they just got shell-shocked early against the Bills and the wheels went off. And we'll look back at that and say, okay, they win 2 or 3 of their next 4. And you think, okay, that was a fluke. But right now we have 0-3. And I guess I'll stop this point by saying this, Rick. I really thought that they would play well on Monday, and I thought they would lose Monday because I thought Josh Allen and the Bills were maybe just better than they were. But I expected it to be 17-14 Jags at half, and then the Bills just – we've all seen that game where the better team just wins because you're at home, you have the better quarterback, and they will themselves to win. I think the Bills are the kind of team that can do that. But by no stretch did I expect them to get steamrolled, look lost, look incapable. That's what was weird, and that's the part I can't figure out.
Yeah.
Again, I wish I had a better answer, but maybe that's the answer. Is that I don't know, and they better figure it out because they're supposed to know.
Yeah, they better figure it out, and unfortunately, they're going now to Houston, who was embarrassed as well. totally embarrassed. And I imagine it's been a very long week there. And I know they're beaten up like Jacksonville, particularly at running back. But you would think the effort and, the will to turn around what happened to them against Minnesota is all about the Texans on Sunday.
Well, and they're playing at home. And, the Texans have a chance to bury the Jags, right? Like early on in the season, if the Texans win this game, they may rightfully say, okay, we're done with them. Now we got to go, so they think they can go bury their division rival, so to speak. Do they get overconfident? Maybe, because the Jags aren't playing very well. I don't expect that to happen. But yeah, this is it's an opportunity for the Jags, but they've dug themselves into this hole of you had a couple of chances to win early, and now you're playing a couple of games where nobody would be surprised if they lost these two games. But at some point you got to win, or all these conversations are just conversations about a bad team, right? So I'm kind of falling back on some things you usually say about a team that's playing well and competitive, but they haven't shown any of that to Jags yet.
Mm-hmm.
So until they do, some of these things that you normally say about teams don't apply, because you just keep waiting for them to be what we thought they were going to be and what they thought they were going to be. And that's what's sort of mysterious and mystifying. And I don't remember one quite like this in terms of just not matching up to what we thought they were going to be. They can still pull out of it,
mm-hmm.
but show us a sign that you're going to do that before we can talk about that, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Jaguars, 1 o'clock on Sunday in Houston. John Oehser, our guest, senior writer, Jaguars.com. Get everything from John and his staff at Jaguars.com. And make sure you listen to the game right here on 1010 on the AM, 92.5 on the FM. And, injury to insult, now you lose a great football player in Foye Oluokun. He's going to be out for at least this game and maybe a few more weeks. Ventrell Miller is going to take the podium tomorrow and talk to all of us as a group. And, the expectations for Ventrell Miller are high, but once again, this is a big blow for this football team.
Yeah, and yes, it is. And it could be. Ventrell Miller has played well enough to give you an idea that sometimes guys get an opportunity and you say, okay, well, they're okay there. He has played well enough in spots and looked well enough in spots, and you get the idea from talking to people about him that this could be that story. He has a chance to be a good player. He's an instinctive player. He's one of these guys who's played a lot of football in his life. He's a good football player. But to say they won't miss Foye in terms of knowing this defense, his speed, which the speed has not been what it needs to be on defense so far, you can't help but think they'll miss that. There's been a couple of plays this year that really showed you Foye's
mm-hmm.
value.
Yeah.
There was a play against Miami where he almost had to pick, right? And where he just saw it. He saw what Tua was going to do on a play, nearly had a game-changing pick. That's the sort of experience, vision things that he can give you that you hope Ventrell Miller can give you.
Yeah. A positive, it appears that Darnell Savage will be back.
Yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, they certainly looked like a team the other night that was playing without its best players in the defensive secondary. So you hope that's a positive. Darnell seemed to play well against Miami. That should be a positive, and they'll need it. The book on Houston so far this year has been you sort of play back. You don't let them beat you. Sort of what the Jaguars did last year against Stroud. Remember, they sort of played their guys back and didn't let Stroud beat you deep. So perhaps Darnell Savage can fit into that sort of a scheme, and they can slow the Texans that way.
Yeah. All right, last one for you. Don't remember if you were right there when he said it, but Josh Allen on Sunday said, as soon as a win comes, then watch this. There's going to be a bunch of wins. For the record, I had them 1-3 in the first 4. If they pull off the upset, They're 1-3. And then this schedule does get more manageable. And I understand our listeners don't want to hear that right now because they're upset. But your thoughts on what Josh Allen said. Get that first one, then all of a sudden they could run off a bunch of victories.
Oh, it absolutely could change. And Trevor alluded to it today, too, on the podium. What he was getting at was, look, it's a long season. That doesn't mean that this game's not really important and critical. But I think his point was, if you win this, then it is a long season, meaning you're 1-3. The Texans are 2-2. You've got 13. Remember, it's not even a 16-game schedule anymore. It's a 13. I mean, it's a 17-game schedule. There's a lot of time. If you're back in it, you're one game out. You control your destiny, all those things. And then it is really all out in front of you. But Trevor's point, I think, to that was, look, it's great to keep saying that, but it's a long season, can be a lot of losses, too, if you don't start winning games.
No doubt.
So it's all right there in front of them if they play better than they have. And, again, Rick, until 1 o'clock Sunday rolls around, all of this seems kind of silly with this team right now.
Yeah.
And so we have to watch them do it before we can believe it.
That's fair. John, always a lot of fun. Thank you.
Rick, thanks, buddy. Good talking to you.
John Oehser, senior writer, Jaguars.com. They're a big dog here going to Houston, right? 5.5, 6 points. To get that win, I mean, let's face it, they got to pull off an upset here. Here comes Indy playing better football next week. I look at it, and as bad as Jacksonville's playing, I look at Indy and say, Jacksonville can win that game. Both London games, the Bears and the Patriots, Jacksonville can win those games. All right? Can they win 3 out of their next 4? Because guess what? After that, the schedule becomes very difficult again. You have Green Bay. You go to Philly. You have then the biggest surprise so far in the NFL in Minnesota. Minnesota just pounded Houston. Then you go to Detroit, which is arguably the most difficult game that is still out there. But then again, it becomes manageable if you're playing improved football. The last 6, Houston at home, at Tennessee, the Jets come in town. You go way out to Vegas. Tennessee comes in, you go to Indy. That's not, those last 6 is not Murderer's Row. Okay? It's not San Francisco. It's not Kansas City. You're not getting Detroit then. You're not going to Philly then. They have 2. They're going through one right now. Then you're going through another one after these next 4 games. I'm just trying to give a tiny, tiny bit of hope. And if you can win a football game. Now, right now, that becomes such a huge if. I'll tell you right now, on Wednesday, I'm picking Houston. I mean, there's no way around it. Where I am right now with the Jaguars, I can't pick them until I see them win a game. I did the same thing with Florida State. I picked Florida State to win their first 3 games. When they lost to Memphis, I said, that's it. I'm not going to pick them again. And sure enough, I didn't, and they went out and beat Cal. Okay? I picked Buffalo, but I didn't think it would be a 47-10 game. I thought it would be a 24-17 type of contest. So that's about as positive as I can get right there. I got to see it in order to believe it. But if you get that first one, and let's just say they knocked off Houston, this team could win 4 in a row. I put the cart way, way, way before the horse. And frankly, I expect to get ripped for it.
Take your shot at a weekly tailgate combo pack valued at $100 from Southern Steer Butcher.
And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football.
It's the ultimate tailgate. Enter now at 1010XL.com. Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Teal and Black looked to make some noise early in the second half and definitely made their presence felt coming out of the halftime break. Thanks to an 8-play, 70-yard drive led by Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville would get their first touchdown of the contest on Monday night. The 3-minute, 45-second drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey, John, my dad, Randy Marion's gone absolute Cadillac crazy. You won't believe our Escalade lineup.
Well, how crazy we talking, Jennifer?
Buckle up, folks. We've got over 35 Cadillac Escalades.
35 Escalades? That's luxury overload.
I'm talking fully loaded models, cutting-edge tech, and that signature Cadillac style.
And the deals are even more luxurious. $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Plus 5% off MSRP on retired courtesy vehicles. Head to Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $899 MNP and resistol.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric is now hiring. If you have a 5-star mentality to provide world-class custom plumbing or electrical solutions, you should work with Lickety Split. Their team is incredibly supportive, positive, and dedicated to being the best. If you have a valid driver's license with at least 18 months of experience, apply at Lickety Split, an equal opportunity employer offering competitive pay, a service truck, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Hiring management positions too. Visit licketysplitfl.com.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light, easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 25th, 1932, MLB Hall of Fame first baseman Jimmy Fox hits his 58th home run in the last game of the season against the Senators.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality products. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th, as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. I've been playing Prize Picks lately, and I have no idea why I waited so long. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with more than 5 million active members. And beyond that, it's a blast to play. It's easy, it's exciting, and makes those college and NFL games so much more exciting to watch. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stats and watch your winnings roll in. This week, I've got Vikings quarterback Sam Arnold throwing for less than 229.5 yards, and Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson rushing for less than 39.5 yards. It's just that easy. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quickly as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code JAX, J-A-X, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code JAX on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. It's all there, Prize Picks. Run your game.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1 mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at MacKenziesRun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. MacKenziesRun.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Blue Crab House open till 9 tonight. $1 steamed oysters. I've been out there the last 2 Friday nights. Been absolutely spectacular. Steamed oysters till 9. You got yourself an hour and 40 minutes. Head right out there off of San Jose, located on Julington Creek Road. Tomorrow, $3 drafts. And, of course, Sunday, they open at noon. They open at 4:30 Tuesday through Saturday, off Monday. Sunday, $2.50 Bloody Marys and mimosas. Do you realize that Bama, this is the first time that they have been an underdog at home since 2007. It's a streak that spans 90 consecutive games. That is phenomenal. I remember Florida State during that 14-year run where it felt like the only team they lost to in Tallahassee outside of Clemson in '89 was Miami, right? I don't think Spurrier never beat Florida State in Tallahassee. This is really impressive. 90 consecutive games. By Alabama. 4911 says, Ballou, if you were Shad Khan, who would you fire first? Well, I'd fire Doug Peterson first. But I wouldn't do it until after London. Again, it just doesn't make any sense to me, as bad as things are, to fire a guy 3 weeks in. I just took you through a scenario where now people are telling me I'm way too positive. Here's a guy here who 4751 said, I had no idea Ballou was president of the regional Optimist Club. That was impressive. The Jags would be down 14 by the end of the first quarter. And then so there's that. And then here's another one who says to me, 3804, I don't know why this radio station is so scared to call it the obvious problem. Bad for business, baby. We have players who are talented enough. They're getting blown out. So why? Coaching. Yada, yada, yada. Fired Doug Peterson yesterday. Obviously, you did not listen to the show here a day ago where I lost my mind. And I think I'm never going to, JJ, I'm never going to point out one of our colleagues, but I think the consensus morning, afternoon, night was the entire radio station lost its mind.
Literally, Hayes Carline wrote a piece on why he would fire Doug Peterson. So not only has he been saying it on the radio like you, it was in print.
Yeah.
So,
but I get blame the media, and that's fine.
I would say that out of everything that's been happening on the radio the last 2 days, Doug Peterson's getting it way more than Trevor. So I thought that's where the texter was going at first, that like everyone's protecting Trevor or something. But yeah, no, everybody's piling on Doug.
Well, you know what this is Doug Peterson is Billy Napier. Trevor Lawrence is Mike Norvell. Okay,
you're locked in.
You are locked in.
He ain't going anywhere.
And JJ and I aren't going to say, we told you not to sign him, because we're not those type. We don't need to do that. We know that we have regular listeners, and you all, I can't believe you don't want to sign him. We're not even going to say it. Not going to do that to you. Where was that I wanted to see a little bit of humor in here? Oh, God. Here we go. 7065 said, my wife asked about water, of course, with the hurricane coming. My wife asked about water. I told her to make sure we have enough beer.
Which water is in beer?
There
so
is.
You're both correct.
Which is weird because you still get dehydrated.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if you're that concerned about water and you can't get any, I was always told to fill up your bathtub, when a storm's coming. So there's a life hack for you. Just in case you don't have water for a few days, now you do. You can't take a bath, but...
Well, I was going to say, how do I say this without being graphic? Then again, I haven't taken a bath. I haven't taken a bath in 20 years.
They're gross.
I actually did out in Colorado. There was a hot tub in our hotel room. Actually, I'm trying
to... a jacuzzi?
Yeah, it was really nice during a vacation.
That sounds classy.
But, my home now, and I tried to change my ways when I had babies, right, who took baths. But and since I've been here, I've had a shower only. But guys, for the most part, once they get that hot water on them, something happens throughout your body where you let some waste go. And if you're one of those who like where I grew up in Boston, the shower was in the bath. It was one facility.
Yeah,
you didn't have a separate.
I mean, that's same with me. I live in an apartment.
Yeah. So anyway,
I've never had a bath separate from the shower.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah.
If that tells you anything about how I've been living.
You got to be a homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely.
For that, the apartment and stuff like that. But, yeah, so here's my advice to you. If
Clean that bathroom.
Yeah, make sure you give that a good scrubbing. Because you're going to look at the man in the house, and he's going to look at your back, and he's going to say, no. I don't relieve myself in the bathroom. I don't.
I've been peeing in that for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I think there are some that say as far as survival, if you weren't to have it, I've heard both schools of thought on that when it comes to urine, that if you're totally dehydrated and you're out on a raft in the middle of the water.
You got to drink it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gandhi drank his own urine every single morning. It's like part of his health ritual. Allegedly.
Last time I talked about pee was it Moises Alou?
Moist Hands Alou, yes. He used to urinate on his hands
to
so
make
he wouldn't
it tougher.
Get calluses, yes.
I'll say this, man. I've been hitting the puck with a hockey puck off the ankle and football getting hurt. When you play baseball, and this was the case growing up in Boston, and it's 30-something degrees.
When you get one right in on the hands,
or you foul one off. The vibration and that sting on your fingers.
Like on second base, 30 minutes later and still be feeling that. Like your hands are shaking. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure up there, I couldn't even fathom.
But can you imagine being a professional and having, because that's a part of the toughness that people don't understand unless you play the game. Or have played the game.
Is it different with a wooden bat? Do you get less of that? I've actually never played with a wooden bat.
Honestly, don't know. I haven't swung a wooden bat since I was probably 6 or 7.
We should just go to the batting cages as a show. Do a show from the batting cages.
That'd be fun.
Sick.
Let's bring in Mike Silver on the other side. Longtime NFL writer. You've seen him on the NFL Network. I remember when Mike was here in '96, and I had him on the ball. And he and I had a long conversation about Coughlin getting upset with some questions. And Silver and I were just kind of like, he'd never be able to handle it in a place like New York or Boston. And, of course, he was at BC. But BC then was on page 8 of the Boston Globe. Coughlin only went on to win 2 Super Bowls in New York. It still didn't take away from the way he handled those questions. I wonder if Mike remembers that. I may bring it up considering the Jags aren't playing all that well, right? What's he going to say? He's got a new book that's coming out as well. So nonetheless, let's do that next. The great Mike Silver joins us as we go into the night.
He's mastered the art of incognito.
Charming, sophisticated secret agent.
Case Carline takes you behind enemy lines. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hacker here, and the celebration continues on my countdown to 100 pounds. I'm now at 93.5 pounds with only 6.5 pounds to go. That will be a 100-pound swing in just over 6 months. Only a couple of more weeks to go, and I feel awesome. Life-changing and life-saving is what I like to say. Maybe you don't have 100 pounds to lose. Maybe it's 25 like Mike Dempsey, or 40 like Matt Hayes. Whatever your number is, bring it to Awaken 180 and ask them how fast you'll reach it. But Hacker, I've tried other programs and diets before. Why will Awaken 180 work? That's simple. Because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Remember, when I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate. I'll keep you updated every week as I get closer. And you can even join in on the celebration. Pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Follow the Canes as they storm the ACC.
I'm 1010XL's JJ LaSalva, and every week I'll bring you the Miami news and notes you need to know.
The Performance Painting Hurricane Report on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make the move to Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour with benefits that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
If your IT, data security, and your office copiers are operating perfectly, you must have hired ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, as your technology partner.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Christian Kirk was phenomenal for Jacksonville while in Buffalo. The teal and black wideout tallied 8 receptions for 79 yards on a season-high 10 targets. The former Aggie simply aggravated the defense all game long, and he'll look to do more of the same to next week's opponents. Christian Kirk is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
Universal Roof and Contracting has been protecting Florida homes from the elements for over 30 years. Call Universal Roof and Contracting today for a free roof inspection and get 15% off your roof repair or replacement. Plus, flexible financing options and payments as low as $115 a month. This offer expires September 30th. Call 855-ROOF-HELP.
License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
If you're getting married or want to upgrade your bands, now is the time at Beard's Diamonds.
Because it's Beard's Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one on wedding band sale.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Cold beer and good grub. That's what you'll get at Taps on 210. Just a great neighborhood feel where friends and family get together. Check out Taps in the Winn-Dixie Plaza, just west of 95 on County Road 210. Proudly supporting our 9 After 5 weekly. Head there for a cold one.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and it is hot out there. You know that, Greg, but Honda has a plan for you on or off the road.
They do. There's a ton of Honda scooters, Honda mini motos, great for the beach. Also get you out in the woods with a Honda side-by-side. Plenty to do and stay cool.
Yeah, four-wheelers, and you can trick them out.
We can. From stereo systems to big builds, we do it all.
Everything's there for you to see. CyclesofJacksonville.com online or on Atlantic near Regency. Check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
That great guest is Mike Silver, football fan, certainly familiar with him. He is with the San Francisco Chronicle. He's got a brand new book that is out as well. It is called The Why is Everything, a story of football, rivalry, and revolution. Mike, Rick Ballou, always a pleasure. How you been?
Great, Rick. How are you?
Doing really good. You may not remember this. I was telling my listeners about it, but it was back in '96 when you came into town here when the Jags went on that great run. And Tom Coughlin that day didn't like the questions, and you came in and sat down with me and did a lengthy interview. We were kind of like, my God, this guy would never make it in New York or something like that. And he only went on to win 2 Super Bowls for the Giants.
I had so much fun. I remember coming out when he got things rolling later in Jacksonville and in '99, I believe, and we did a big feature on him, and I quoted all his family members talking about how he handed out itineraries on vacation down to the minute and walked around with a dustbuster around the house, cleaning up messes, and just a joy to report that. And actually went down to the beach. They did a photo shoot on the Saturday, and they wanted him to take off his shoes and put his toes in the sand for the photo, and he was absolutely dead set against it. And his wife Judy laid down the law at the time and finally got him to relent. But yeah, man, great times in that city. So many of those cool teams. Obviously the epic battles with the Titans and so many other teams. And here we are, and not going so well early on for them. We'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, and this will kind of segue to your book on Kyle Shanahan. But if you look at what they did recently, they brought back Tom Coughlin, who had success. They brought in Urban Meyer, who, with Nick Saban, was arguably one of the greatest college football coaches of the last 20-plus years. And then they bring in a Super Bowl winning coach in Doug Peterson. So name recognition, they brought in guys who have been tremendously successful, yet it hasn't worked.
I wouldn't give up on Doug. Obviously, that epic playoff comeback was highly memorable, and they have paid the quarterback, so they obviously believe he's the guy, and Doug has done some big things. So I'm hopeful that Doug can get things rolling. So my book is about the Shanahan-McVay coaching crew, and really the 5 main guys in my book: Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, and Raheem Morris, who just got the Falcon job. And there actually is a little Urban Meyer nugget in there that I think you guys will enjoy. So Urban Meyer in 2021 is closing in on the Jaguar job, and Raheem Morris had been interim head coach of the Falcons at the time and interviewed for that job, didn't get it. And he and Urban had talked, and Raheem believed he would likely go to Jacksonville as Urban's defensive coordinator. So Urban calls him on a Friday and says, "Hey, why don't you come out on Wednesday? We'll do the interview and get it done." And Raheem is silently pumping his fist because that gives him time to explore some other options. It just shows how clueless Urban Meyer was when it came to the ways of the NFL and how quickly this stuff moves and how volatile and competitive these, staffing, derbies are. So during those 5 days, Sean McVay, Raheem Morris' close friend and former colleague, loses Brandon Staley, who gets the Charger job, and then calls Raheem and convinces him to come to L.A. It worked out better for Raheem. He helped Sean McVay win a Super Bowl, and now he's back as the head coach with the Falcons. He's a great coach, but I don't know if any coach could have benefited from the Urban Meyer fiasco.
No doubt about that. We are talking with Mike Silva. We've got a brand new book that is out on Kyle Shanahan and the Kyle Shanahan tree. And, Mike Shanahan was so successful, particularly at the end of his career, when he found, Terrell Davis to go along with John Elway and company. But there have been so many sons of very good coaches who haven't done as well. What separates Kyle Shanahan from the others?
Well, I'm glad you brought up Mike Shanahan because he's in this book a lot, and that's really where this started for me. I was a young beat writer covering the 49ers. He came in as their offensive coordinator in 1992, really in an embattled state. He'd been unceremoniously fired as the head coach of the Raiders by Al Davis and as the coordinator of the Broncos by Dan Reeves. Steve Young was filling in for the injured Joe Montana. He was also kind of beleaguered just in that he was not Joe Montana, who was such a beloved legend. They thought he didn't read defenses. They thought he ran too much. And together they created magic, and culminating in that incredible 6-touchdown Super Bowl MVP performance in Super Bowl 29. And then, of course, Mike went to Denver and had great success. So then you fast forward to Washington, and Mike Shanahan got that staff that includes all 5 of these now head coaches. But, Kyle's a guy who, schematically may have pushed it even further. And, he always kind of had that entitled Nepo baby stigma, and he didn't go to great pains to, kind of hide his incredible sense of self that he knew a lot. But, it turns out he's very, very good and innovative and has pushed the envelope a lot. And really what this crew has done, Kyle being at the forefront of it, is they've taken a lot of these established NFL principles that went unquestioned. We just do it this way. This is how it's always been done. It worked for Bill Walsh. We do it because it worked. And they've deconstructed a lot of it and just, innovated, created an ecosystem that all goes together and been open to highly creative and radical suggestions in the face of circumstances. For example, RG3 was drafted in 2012, had only operated out of the pistol. They managed to import that entire outside zone scheme into the pistol and took the league by storm. And so, you have a guy who may be ahead of everyone else schematically, but then you have a guy like Sean McVay, who's very good schematically, but believes that the leadership side of it may be more important. It's kind of a cool dichotomy, and their offshoots are all over the league right now. And so, I did kind of get into it from the Mike Shanahan angle, and he actually makes some appearances in this book, and was highly ahead of the curve on Brock Purdy.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, look at what he's turned into. Mike Silva, brand new book that is out. Be available October 1st at bookstores. How else can our listeners get your book, Mike?
Well, the pre-order links are all over my social media bio, and, I know it's on Amazon and anywhere else you would pre-order a book. The Why is Everything is the title. It'll be in bookstores everywhere October 1st. We're doing audiobook and Kindle and all that cool stuff. But if I haven't blocked you on social media, all my bios have. So there you go. But I think people really like it. It talks a lot about the way football has changed, the way the approach has changed, and it's really impossible to watch a game these days without seeing the impact of this tree. You look at the Saints with that offensive explosion the first couple of games. That's Clint Kubiak, who came from San Francisco. C.J. Stroud last year with D'Amico Ryans and Bobby Slowick, the first-time offensive coordinator, also from San Francisco, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, Sean McVay's former offensive coordinator, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think it'll take people on a cool ride, and there's a lot of pettiness and rivalry and dirt along the way.
You have blocked my producer, JJ. I don't think you've blocked Rick Ballou. I don't think so, Mike. I mean, really? You've blocked me?
I have?
Is that what you just said? You blocked?
No. I said if I haven't blocked to the listeners out there, if I haven't blocked you.
Oh,
yeah, no,
I misheard.
The English language is failing us again. You collectively. If there's anyone that out there that I have blocked, then you probably have to go to Amazon and search the why is everything.
I just got bad ears.
I was making fun of my penchant for blocking on Twitter, but I will tell you, Blocktober is almost here, and conveniently, this book comes out on October 1st. Blocktober to me is the most wonderful time of the year, and maybe I'll give some clemency this Blocktober to past people who've been blocked, just as a way of trying to pump up my book sales and bring in the holiday cheer.
Mike, always a lot of fun. Best of luck with the book. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rick. And I'm pretty sure you're not blocked. I think we're cool. We've never had anything but good interaction.
No doubt.
As far as I know.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. There he goes.
Thank you very much.
The author, Mike Silver, The Why is Everything, a story of football, rivalry, and revolution. So there you go.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Now, that was funny. JJ says to me during the break, he goes, yeah, Mike Silver's blocked me. And I can't imagine why. But when I heard him, he's like, and Rick, I know I blocked you on social media unless you go to this certain thing, but I guess it was not that. He was talking about some listeners.
Yes, he knows that he's infamous for the block.
Okay.
Which I like people like that. Listen,
I don't think
it's
I've blocked
your own
anyone.
social media. If you don't want to see what somebody has to say, you don't like their point of view or whatever, you don't have time for that crap, block them. I'm for that. I'm pro-block.
Mm-hmm. I'm a skill guy, so I don't block. Yeah, I run crisp, sharp, crisp, disciplined routes. But Mike Silver's always had that San Francisco or that California-ness in him, where he sounds like a guy that serves. He's a very good football man, and we've seen him all over the place, including the NFL Network, but he is now with the San Francisco Chronicle. Gave an endorsement here for Doug Peterson, but you look at the young guys that they have brought in, and I do think if this thing blows up, as great as Bill Belichick is, and right now the odds are 1-1, so they're even odds that he replaces Mike McCarthy in Dallas. Jacksonville's next up with Philly. Okay, 6-1 odds. As great as Belichick is, I think you have to find a brilliant offensive mind and a guy who is going to take the centerpiece of this organization and Trevor Lawrence and move forward with him. And I'm not saying that Peterson can't turn it around. And if he gets fired, then that becomes a big miss for me, because I thought that it would work with Peterson and Lawrence. I know most out there are going to yell for Bill Belichick. Others are going to yell for Mike Vrabel. Two very good coaches. Belichick may be the best that we've ever seen, but they're defensive-minded coaches. And do you want, if they get the best offensive coordinator around and he becomes so good that you lose him in a year or two? Remember when Coughlin was so good? And you lost Chris Palmer, and you lost a couple of other coordinators. I'm trying to think. Who's the guy who got in the fight with Buddy Ryan? Kevin Gilbride, right? You started, and you lost defensive guys as well as you moved on. Dick Duran left, among others. But I don't want that for Trevor Lawrence. Is all of a sudden you have a great young offensive coordinator, and he's so good that you lose him to the NFL, and then you have to bring in a totally different guy a year after that. That's why I think it makes sense, to find a Ben Johnson, to find a great offensive mind, and have him be the play caller, have him be the one who works directly with Trevor Lawrence if they do blow this thing up with Doug Peterson.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Yeah, I'm just looking at our text line. I see Todd Munkin. I see Cliff Kingsbury. I see all sorts of names, Hacker. They'll be out there, but first things first, the Jaguars got to find a way to win a football game on Sunday.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'm not holding my breath. I was sent this earlier. It's interesting. I'll just give you the best parts. This was from a Philadelphia Eagle fan website 4.5 years ago, right around the time Doug Peterson was fired. And it's titled, "The 5 Reasons Why Firing Doug Peterson Was the Right Move." I'm not going to read all of it, but the key headlines here. Number 1, his refusal to change. Number 2, injuries. Number 3, the regression of Carson Wentz. Number 4, randomized play calling. And number 5, he did not want to be here. Just look at his press conferences. And you think of those 5.
I don't think 5. Do you think 5?
I don't think 5, but I think
first 4 are solid now.
The regression of Carson Wentz, just trade that name for Trevor Lawrence. Randomized play calling. We've been, belly aching about that. Injuries. And the refusal to change. And I saw that today. I'm like, whoa. Kind of like a sequel, isn't it? From what Philadelphia fans were saying 4.5 years ago.
It's the loss of Jim Bob Cooter.
Perhaps. That was a big deal. Yes.
Yeah. Some of our listeners have said that to me, including one just came in here on the 1370. Jim Bob Cooter. I mean, that was arguably the best year for Trevor Lawrence when he was here.
It was. And boy, it's Doug Peterson's job, it's Press Taylor's job to get Trevor Lawrence to where he needs to get to, and they're not doing that. And that alone is an offense that needs to be some serious undertaking as far as should he lose his job for that one piece of it. The fact that your $275 million quarterback is not as good as he was 2 years ago.
Our colleague Hayes Carline made a very good point. Sean Payton with Drew Brees. They stay together forever. If Doug Peterson gets fired, you're going to hear Bill Belichick. You're going to hear Mike Vrabel. I know you just heard what I was saying as you walked in. I don't want to replace offensive coordinators, even if the team's really good. And I know there's a school of thought, well, if you lose an offense coordinator as a head coach, that's a great thing. That means that you're having success. But I want a long-term marriage. I thought it would work with Peterson. If it doesn't, where are your thoughts on what Hayes said about getting a young offensive coach who calls plays, who's going to be here for a long period of time, compared to an accomplished defensive coach like Belichick or Vrabel?
I want to find the next Sean McVay. And is that Ben Johnson in Detroit? Is that the coordinator out in Houston with Slowick, I believe was his name? They're going to see him on Sunday. I mean, Ben Johnson's the name you're going to hear.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name that's going to rise to the top. Because Ben Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, turned down head coaching interviews last year.
Because he didn't believe he had the quarterback.
Right. You would not turn down an interview here in Jacksonville.
You would not.
So that's the name that I'm kind of circulating to. But again, Tennessee thought they had that with Brian Callahan.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 3 games, but they're already complaining about Callahan. You're not guaranteed to get the next Sean McVay.
Look how many teams thought it was that with Josh McDaniels. Yeah. Now, that's the other side of the equation. What if Bill Belichick comes with Josh McDaniels, who has proven he's like Gus Bradley. He's a very good coordinator. And he worked with Brady. He had that one success. Who won those 11 games?
Matt Castle.
The USC quarterback.
Yeah.
He was a little bit successful with Jimmy Garoppolo, not a ton. But if it's a package deal with McDaniels, who is not going to go to the NFL as a head coach, that becomes intriguing as well.
And having said all that, there's 14 games to go this year. The way the NFL is, Carolina, what is today, Wednesday? Carolina 17 days ago lost a game, I believe 47-10, ironically enough, to New Orleans on opening day. Remember that?
I do.
And then last week, they go to Las Vegas and put a number on Las Vegas. Now, I'm not saying the Jaguars are going to do that, but things can change pretty quick if the players just start performing. I'm going to talk about this today. It's been 304 days since Trevor Lawrence won a start as a Jaguar quarterback. You know where that game was? You know the last place he won a game?
Houston.
Yeah. November 26th last year. Going back to the same stadium that he got his last win in. Maybe that'll be some karma on Sunday.
What's coming up?
Speaking of that game, on the TV side for CBS, Andrew Catalon. We got Catalon on the call, man. If anybody can get us out of the slump,
he can.
It's Andrew Catalon. He's going to join us coming up here in about 20 minutes. Also, Dave Campo. Obviously, a lot of Jaguar talk tonight on Hacker After Dark.
All right, Hack. Have a great night.
Thanks, Rick.
Here's one. I get quite a few of these, too. The 6453 says Joe Brady. Okay. Well, who did he replace? Brian Daboll. Wasn't Brian Daboll supposed to be a great head coach after a successful stint, a very successful stint, several places as an offense coordinator, including Bama? Not working out for him right now. So you just don't know. You think you know, but you don't. It's hard to find the right guy. Thank you to John Oehser, Mike Silver, and, of course, Tim Brando. For JJ, I'm Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow night, 6 to 8, on your home of the Jaguars.
A good-looking defense does more than protect your zone. It can enhance your home. After the game, catch the superior fence and rail defensive player of the game on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.